Hey everybody out there, and today for you guys I'm going to be doing a deck profile of a deck that I thoroughly enjoy playing, and I really enjoyed rebuilding this deck with the new support that came out back in January, and that is my GaGaGa deck. So you could call this a GaGaGa Go-Go-Go deck. We'll talk more about the reasons why I built this deck that way as we get into the deck profile, but it does use the new support that came out back in January, and pretty much I've been sitting on this deck, playing it, tweaking it, for the last 2.5 months, almost 3 months now, because I really love this deck. It's one of those pet decks that I have had for years, and I was really sad when Master Rule 4 came out because it kind of made the deck dead. Now that Master Rule 5 has come out, the deck is back alive and what it can do. You don't have to waste resources going for Exceeds play, link monsters. You can just go for a bunch of Exceeds. So it's not like the Utopic deck or the Utopia deck that I profiled back in March for Master Rule 5. That deck was mainly focused on going for rank 4 Exceeds to go into Double, Lightning, Zexal. This deck, while rank 4s are probably the best toolbox and it does have a rank 4 engine in it, it's going to be also focused on going for other levels in Exceeds. So 7s, 6s, 8s, things of that nature. You can tweak the extra deck to put in other cards that you want to. That is up to you to decide how you want to proceed with that going forward. But from playtesting, I love this deck and the way it functions. So without further ado, let's get into it. We'll get into all the different combo plays and things of that nature. I've mainly just seen people profiling Utopia decks. I haven't seen a lot of people profiling GaGaGa decks. So that's what this deck is. It's a lot different. It has different cards compared to the other deck you saw on the channel. So first off, we run our 3 GaGaGa Magicians. In this version of the deck, he is integral to a lot of different plays that you can do. His level manipulation is going to be another key component in this deck for the different things he will be able to do and that he will do. So I do want to mention that as well. We'll talk more about it, but pretty much know that he is probably one of your mainstays, along with the next card I'm going to show you here in a second, to doing a bunch of different combo plays to some degree. Next up, we're going to run 3 Utopic Automata Paya, the Utopic card. This card is amazing, especially with Master Rule 5, because you can go for a multitude of Exceeds in one turn with this one card. It's really awesome. It's searchable with Rhoda, through Rhoda, which is that's also awesome. There's other ways you can search it as well, but pretty much this card's really essential in the deck as a 3-of to help go for a multitude of Exceeds plays, especially if you're trying to just go for a bunch of plays going off the bat first turn. So yeah, very good, essential card. 1 GaGaGa Magician Girl. You can run her, you don't have to run her. I like her in the deck. She's still useful. Some people still run the Kunamali Machu Mech play with her. If you want to run that, go right ahead. I tried that out when I was rebuilding the deck, and I kind of quickly found out that Ash Blossom kind of hurts you, and there are other cards that hurt you. I even got Effect Failed a couple times, so it's just kind of like, well, I don't think it's as consistent as it used to be, and I don't even know if I would run it. But that's just my opinion. You can run Kunamali Machu Mech if you want to. But personally, I just like using her because you can just use her as an Exceed fodder and just get into other monsters. Another GaGaGa that we run as a 1-of, I'm going to mention, is GaGaGa Clerk. Some people like running this as a multiple, and I understand why. I would definitely say she was a staple 2 to 3-of to some degree back when we were in Master Rule 4 because you could use her for link fodder. Now she's okay, and she's mainly going to be used when you're using cards like Automatic Pickup, which is the Tinky to search out your searcher for the deck. So when you're using this and you're level manipulating, it's really good because then you can just get a free special summon to go for an Exceed play. But besides that, she's not as useful unless you're trying to still go for a lot of link plays in your deck. Personally, I like her as a 1-of. I find that when you run more of her, she's not as good. Back in my older builds, I never ran her, but now that we have Automatic Pickup, it's a little bit better. It's okay. It's searchable depending upon your hand. I like it for that reason. So I like it as a 1-of, and GaGaGa Girl as well. Next up, we run 3 GaGaGa Sister. She is your kind of like a Stratos for the deck and helps you do a whole bunch of different plays, which we'll talk about when we get to the spell lineup. But pretty much know that she searches for a lot of your GaGaGa cards. So she can help you search out for GaGaGa Revenge, which some people discount how powerful this card can be, and we'll talk about that in a bit. You can also search up GaGaGa Emergency Network, which is still a pretty good card, I find. GaGaGa Bolt, which is 1-for-1 removal, which is nice. And things of that nature is mainly what you're going to use GaGaGa Sister to search out. Very useful card, can do level manipulation things with GaGaGa Magician. Just good card overall. I like her as a 3 of. Was so happy when she originally came out in World Superstars years ago. Double GaGaGa Head. And I'm going to mention, some of you guys will be like, what? I've never seen this card before. If you're from Europe, if you're from TCG Europe, you don't have this card to my knowledge still. I think this card came out like 3-4 years ago and you guys still don't have it. I feel bad for you. Hopefully you guys get it eventually. So this card's really good for recovery plays, especially, you know, once your board gets wiped or you lose a bunch of exceeds. This card's really useful for that, to help just do stuff. Some people like it as a 1 of. That's fine. Some people like it as a 2 of. That's fine too. It's up to you to decide how many you want to run. Personally, I like 2 of. I've never had a complaint and I like it. So 2 GaGaGa Head. Hopefully you guys over in Europe get it eventually. It was a like Zexal manga promo back in the day. Next we have 3 GaGaGa Coat, which is a great card, and 3 Dododo Gloves, which is another great card. These cards are some of the new ones that came out of the Duelist set back in January. Staple 3 ofs of each. Staple. Just good cards. I love them. I'm happy that we got cards like this, and I'm happy what they do with the names, because it makes them, you know, more accessible and you can do different things. So, yep, definitely staple 3 of each. Nothing to talk about that. Next, I run a rank 4 engine. So this is one of the rank 4 engines I was discussing about, which is pretty much your GaGaGa Giant. So you have other ways for going for rank 4s. But the GaGaGa Giants in the deck, I consider them kind of like a standard rank 4 engine. It's just, okay, I bring this out, I'm going for a rank 4. That's all I'm doing. And so in addition to the GaGaGa Giant, some people run this, some people don't. It's up to you. I run 1 Armstia and Dextia. And some of you guys are going to say, that card's not that good right now. That's debatable. So I would definitely say, you know, when we were in Master Rule 4, I didn't run this at all. But I'm testing it out again, because we're in a situation now where we're going to see a multitude of other decks pop up in casual play at locals. And this deck is predicated towards locals, and you could adjust it with some hand traps to make it go to a regionals, perhaps. Don't know how good it's going to do, though. But pretty much I love this card because besides links, it's really good because you can put their monster to defense position, have it 0 defense, and just run it over. It's nice because you can use it if you're going for an exceed play, because I can go GaGaGa Giant, bring this out, exceed, do that to your opponent, go for an exceed monster and run over. So it's nice to have. You don't have to run it. Some people run other GaGaGa cards. I like it. We'll talk about some ways we can utilize this card to the best of our advantage, but it's a neat, decent card to have. You don't have to run it, though. I definitely say the GaGaGa Giants you run as a 3 because it's pretty much your rank 4 engine. It's Colt Soldier Wolfbach from back in the day to some degree. Next we have your spells, which is Automata Pickup, which is your fire formation tanky, pretty much to search out your searcher. So you're doing a lot of deck thinning. Plus you can do level manipulation, which we talked about earlier. Very essential in the deck. 3 of. I've seen people say run 2 of it. No, run 3 of it. It's a tanky. You're searching. You need that level manipulation sometimes. Just do it. My humble opinion. I learned that the hard way when I was playtesting with it because I thought the same thing. 3 Automata Pia. And this card, I think people underestimate how you can utilize this card to most of its ability. The fact that it says you can discard any card pretty much means it's going to be live most of the time. But it's sometimes what card you're discarding means you can get benefits off of it. So let's talk about this for a second and take a little break from doing the deck profile. And let's talk about certain ways we can utilize some cool 2-card combos. So let's say we have Automata Pia and we have GaGaGa Magician in hand. All right, pretty seamless, nothing fancy here. So what you can do is you can go Automata Pia, send GaGaGa Magician to grave, right? Okay, so he's going to go in the graveyard over here. I'm going to be able to search out, any cards I want to, but I'm probably going to search out this combo right here, which is kind of cool. I'm going to search out GaGaGa Sister, and then whatever other card I want to. GaGaGa, maybe a GaGaGa Giant, I don't know. So I'm going to do that, right? I'm going to now normal summon GaGaGa Sister, and I'm going to search out a spell card, which you guys should know, which is called GaGaGa Revenge. So with GaGaGa Revenge, what you can do is you can activate GaGaGa Revenge. All right, cool. It's pretty much, think of it like a searchable premature burial for the deck. So I'm going to activate GaGaGa Revenge. All right, bring back my GaGaGa Magician, do my level manipulation that I want to do, go for an Exceed play. This would detach, and all other my other Exceed monsters in the field will gain a little bit of an attack boost, which you would think is not a big deal until you start noticing, oh, that monster has a little bit more attack. It's a little bit more better. Oh, GaGaGa Samurai. Oh, cool. Has a little bit more attack, and it can attack 2 cards and get rid of a field. It happens. And it's nice that it's a blanketing effect, which is really cool, and it's a searchable premature burial. Some people run this as a one-of. I understand why. I love it, because I want to reborn my Exceed materials, so I can go for more Exceed plays. That's my mindset. So, as you can see here, that's a little card combo you can do, and then you can do stuff. Another cool combo you can do, guys, involves pretty much straightforward here. Let's just use an example of maybe Omstia and Dextia, or let's say, oh, I don't know, GaGaGa Giant, all right? So what you can do is, let's say we have GaGaGa Giant. So you can do the same thing. You can just pitch like Omstia and Dextia from your hand. Cool. Search for a GaGaGa Giant. Search for a GaGaGa or whatever. Normal summon. Bring out. Okay, there's my rank 4. Exceed, get the effect, and do whatever I want to do. Pretty simple. Same thing with, to some degree, with your GaGaGa Giant here, right? So I can pitch GaGaGa Giant, which is cool. So I can pitch GaGaGa Giant, get a search off of whatever monster I want, and in addition to that, I can search out another GaGaGa Giant, right? So now that I've searched out another GaGaGa Giant, I can go normal summon GaGaGa Giant, bring out GaGaGa Giant, and go for an Exceed play. So what I'm trying to explain here, and what I want you to take away from this is, this card, the card you're discarding, can set up for future plays. You want some of your Exceed monsters like GaGaGa Magician or GaGaGa Girl or something like that in graveyard, so you can reborn it to go for other plays. So that's what I'm trying to say. So that's why I like using this deck in that manner. So 3 GaGaGa Revenge, and some people might say that's a lot, that's too many. That's fine. That's up to you. But what I find from playing this deck back in the day before Master Rule 4 and playing it even now when I was revisiting it for Master Rule 5, it's the same thing. You're using a lot of materials up to go for Exceed plays. Where are they going usually? Into the graveyard. What if I bring those back to go for even more Exceed plays? That's my mindset here when I'm building this deck, and I like that, and it works out very well. So that's why we run 3 GaGaGa Revenge, because you have multiple different ways you're sending things to graveyard to go off. So why not reborn this stuff back to go for other plays? A GaGaGa emergency network is decent to some degree. Some people also like running GaGaGa Child. I should mention that, but I like GaGaGa Clerk. I just wanted to mention Cleric, which I should have mentioned earlier, but I didn't. But this pretty much makes your GaGaGas Cyber Dragons to some degree. 1 GaGaGa Bolt, it's searchable removal. It's searchable 1-for-1 removal. Not as great as maybe searching out like a Regeki or something like that, but I mean, hey, you get rid of a Floodgate, you get rid of something that's a problem. I mean, might as well. 1 double or nothing. This is for your Utopia double. 1 Foolish Burial, so you can set things up in your graveyard to reborn them back. It really does happen. Rhoda, because you have multiple targets you can search out for. Some of your main ones you're going to search out is Zubaba Bancho, GaGaGa Coat, as well as we were talking about at the beginning, automatic Chibi Utopia, let's call it. So these are 2 targets you can search out. And also, in addition to that, we run, I'll scoot this over here to the side a little bit. I run Upstart Goblin to give a little bit of draw power to the deck. It's pretty helpful. Dark Magical Veil, and Monster Reborn. Now, Monster Reborn is pretty straightforward. There's not much to really say about that. But Dark Magician's Veil is just another way to reborn your spellcasters from the graveyard to do more combo plays, or to special summon from hand to do another combo play. So when you start thinking about this and how this deck works, try it out before you diss it, because it actually works out pretty well. Like I said, this is a pet deck of mine. The only thing I would really highly suggest is the extra deck. Play around with that. Give me constructive criticism if you have any, because the extra deck I'm even still working on. Field Center, 2 GaGaGa Magician. This is to reborn things, to do more things. It's pretty straightforward. 1 GaGaGa Samurai, pretty straightforward. Tornado Dragon, Castel, Bagasucha, number 39 Utopic Double, Exciton Knight, Utopia Regular, and also Utopia the Lightning as well. Just rank 4s. Rank 4s. Rank 6s, number 39 Utopic Beyond, Photon Strike Bouncer, number 11 Big Eye, Ningirsu the Orchist of Evening Star. This card's actually pretty decent. Not just an Orchist. Try it out. And also number 38 Hope Harbinger. We got some number monsters in here, right? Even though that's not the way I always plan the deck. It just happens sometimes with this deck. But I hope you guys all enjoy this deck profile. Like I said, it's a fun deck to play, guys. Like, it really, really is a fun deck. And even though, you know, this deck is not meta, it's a really fun deck to play around with and have fun with your buddies. Because it's kind of an anime deck, even though that's not the case. But, you know, for years, I always loved this deck a little bit to pieces. It was kind of like this pet deck of mine, like I said at the beginning of this video. And I'm just so happy now that I get to play it with new support that I've actually been wanting. A searcher for Automatopoeia had been something I've been wanting for years, and they did it. And I'm happy about that. And it was even a better card because you could do level manipulation. Just like, wow. That's exactly what I'd always been wanting for. And so I'm happy we have that new support and I get to play it in Master Rule 5 and not have to worry about zones as much. So yeah, I hope you guys all enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a thumbs up. Remember, guys, to high five the sky. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care, everybody, and I'll see you on the flip side.